Some claim that the age of a true gentleman is far behind us, but here at 284 Media, we still disagree. He may appear in different guises today, but the values and ideals that make him a gent still stand. Gentlemen, aspiring gentlemen, and of course, our partners that hold us down. I'm Ron Grant. Welcome back to Season 4 of The Art of a Distinguished Gentleman, a show poised to help guide modern-day men into 21st century distinguished gentlemen. Now, don't worry, it doesn't always involve suits and bow ties, but real, raw conversation that truly chronicles the life and legacy of some of the BVI's best and brightest. We are at the amazing Botella Lounge in the Tortola Pier Park, and I'm honored to not only be supported by the sponsorship of this beautiful establishment, but here to sit and enjoy a cocktail with our next guest, the one and only Kevon Lettsome. Let's go. Kevon Lettsome is by far one of the Virgin Islands' best and brightest. He hails from the East and is one of the VI's up-and-coming entrepreneurs. A former banker, he is also an entrepreneur in the construction industry and a community leader. We talk all things related to a next generation of greatness for which he is a part. We'll be right back after a quick commercial break. You're watching Season 4 of The Art of a Distinguished Gentleman.
Introducing a show poised to help guide modern-day men into 21st century distinguished gentlemen. It doesn't always involve suits and bow ties, but raw, real-life lessons. I'm taking you outside in the field to share the journey of some of the BVI's the best and brightest men. From East End to West End, Virgin Gorda to Jos Van Dyke, not forgetting Anegada. Our Virgin Islands gentlemen are doing the damn thing. We are the movers and shakers of this generation. The Art of a Distinguished Gentleman. Season 4 by yours truly, Ron Grant. Raising a generation of greatness. Wednesdays at 8 p.m. on 284 Media.
The wait is over. CCT Fire is here. Experience ultra-fast downloads, seamless streaming, and even more reliable connectivity on an all-new fire-blazing super-fast CCT Fiber network. CCT Fire. Bring it home and upgrade today.
Viewers, welcome back to The Art of a Distinguished Gentleman. As promised, I am joined by my guest today, the one and only Kevon Lettsome. The people from the East know you as Shaq. Shaq, welcome to The Art of a Distinguished Gentleman. Thank you so much for your time.
Hey, Ron. Thank you, man. Thank you for this opportunity.
Absolutely. Cheers. So viewers, as mentioned, we are at the amazing Botella Lounge, who is a proud sponsor of today's episode. And Kevon and I are having the very great Uncle Nearest. If you do not know about it, it is one of the very finest, and this can be purchased at Botella. Kevon, you have been working in a number of aspects across the scene when it comes to community work. As always, when I do my research and I make some calls, one of the things that this particular young lady that I called and I inquired about, she said, if you want to get something done within the community, if you need somebody who's really going to give you the best they can, Shaq is always that person that we usually call in the East. Whether she said it's about the elderly, about the youth, basketball, avid basketball player, and supporting the league in the East End. She mentioned and wholeheartedly said that you are one of the go-to persons. I want to start there. How did you become so heavily involved in community work?
That's an excellent question, Ron. You know, growing up in that environment, and we know that they had a stigma that they would say nothing good can come out of Eastern and Long Loop. That was something that drove me into that particular arena and being a leader, like people like Dr. Pickering, Roderick Penn, Tamir Richards, and Marlon Penn, just to name a few. Those persons stepped out the rim and showed that we can have leaders and be a generation of role models to people coming up behind of us. And me growing up there, you know, some consider it as to be the ghetto, some consider it to be up and coming and slow. And major guidance was very important for me. And with me growing up in that community, the youth empowerment program was something that helped me develop my leadership skills. And
so you're a product of YEP as well?
I am.
Okay.
I'm a proud product of the youth empowerment program. I want to say again, I'm a proud product of the Youth Empowerment Program. And I also want to add being in sports too.
Mm-hmm.
I played softball and I played basketball growing up and run track and field. And I was always that person that will be the leader who people will look up to. So I would say being a leader, leadership, and giving back is in my DNA.
Okay. Now you said a lot just now, but you also made mention of some greats that have come out of the East in various aspects, in various community organizations. I'm happy to hear that you are product of YEP, because YEP is one of the leading foundations that continues to contribute significantly, not so much now to the youths of East End, but on a wider scale for the entire territory. But who are some of the people, Shaq, who mentored and probably still mentor you to this day, who you hold dear and close from the East, that you would say attributed to a lot of your success?
I will first like to say Mr. Stacy Mata
Okay.
to the work that he has done through the Youth Empowerment Program, where he bridged a gap and opened an avenue for young people like myself to be able to come, educate ourselves, and give us that attention when our parents would go out to work and there's no one there for us, and just fill that gap. I like to say Stacy Mata. I'll also like to say Dr. Kedrick Pickering. He has always been there for the people of that district also, but for me personally, he has been, I can say he has been there for me in a wide variety of ways. And that's he has been there. Even through my education journey, he has been there. I will also like to make mention who always been there for me is Honorable Julian Fraser. He has been there, advised, point me into the right direction. And yeah, those are person that have been there for me.
Do you think in any way the type of support and mentorship that you would have gotten and continue to get from some of these individuals you mentioned, when we look at our scope right now in our community and some of the social ills that we're facing, whether it be gun violence, teenage pregnancy, a lack of accountability and a lack of support when it comes to fatherhood, do you think that this is something that's missing from our generation, that level of support and male mentorship?
I would say, yes, Ron. I think that is actually lacking. But one of the biggest problems for our generation is that we as young people have to step out of our comfort zone and offer ourselves. Sometimes most of us in our generation have a laid back mentality, and a laid back mentality and approach is not the approach to portray someone to go into the right direction. And I will use an example. When I decided to go to college, I didn't do it just because it would benefit me, Shaq, Kevon, Lettsome. I did it for the persons below me who are coming to say that if Shaq can do it, I can do it too, to be that inspiration. And I think once our generation step out of our comfort zone and understand the problems, live the problems based off of their experience, I think that fatherhood mentality and that mentorship mentality and leadership mentality will make a big difference through the whole Virgin Islands.
You said something that I find very profound and very powerful. You talk about living the problems. Too many times I've realized that in our conversation, we have persons who have not lived a lot of the experiences that our young people have lived, whether it be lack of support, whether it be a hard life growing up, whether it be the lack of a two-parent household. Many of the people lending to the conversation cannot relate to the struggles that many of the young people in our society still face today. When you talk about living the experience, what should we be doing more to help support, whether it be, let's not even look at East End, all across the country, what should we be doing more as Virgin Islandos to help support in any way we can the young people of our generation, specifically the young men?
I think, I have to give male credit. I think we are lacking a lot of programs that will help mentors the young men in our society.
Excellent example. Male is an excellent example.
Yeah. I think we are lacking a lot of programs like that. And one of the things that I always tell Stacey, I said, we at YEP, we cater from about, I'd say 8 to 14. And when we stop at 14, there's a big gap. And I say I feel like we have failed because some of the same person that came up in our program, those are the person that are getting in trouble.
At
And
risk,
and it's not that they don't know better. It's just that individual there to keep them on the straight and narrow so that they can go on the right path, understand the importance of having a job, understand the importance of having a family, understand the importance of doing all the things necessary to make sure that they can deliver for their families.
I understand. Now, with all that you do, wearing a number of different hats, let's step away from the community aspect. You're a father as well. Tell me about that journey to fatherhood. How has that been?
That have been excellent.
Really?
You know, when you come home, have a long day, you come home to your kids, and sometimes you be so tired, but when you see the smile on their face, the jumping, the hopping, the skipping, you're taking them out to eat, you're taking them in the park to ride their bikes, the peace and joy. And like the other day, I traveled and then I came back and I picked up my son because he haven't seen me for about like 2 weeks or so. And I just opened my arms and he ran to me. And I hugged him and I gave him a kiss. And one of my classmates, I didn't know you had a son. And she said, I can see that you love him.
Of course.
Yeah, and that's when I go pick up my daughter from ballet. And just to see the smile on her face that she's happy that I could have given her that opportunity. And she loves dancing, so she'll be home flipping up. And those things that make me proud. I feel like I am doing a good job.
Amazing. Well, congratulations on fatherhood.
Thank you.
We are at a very historic place in our territory. And you, through your construction company and partnership rather, have been able to contribute to the rebuilding of the Elmore Stout High School. This is by far one of the most highly anticipated, long-awaited projects. Our students have been on a shift system for quite some time, and we are seemingly working our way back to the possibility of getting them back into a full-day system with the soon-to-be commissioned new wing of the Elmore Stout High School. Tell us about your construction company and tell us about the opportunity, what it means for you to have been able to be a part of this particular project.
That's a good question, Ron. Well, my construction company is a subsidiary of the company that we partnered with, which is Sunleaf Construction, and my company is Virgin Islands Construction. Both of us work hand in hand. For this venture, we use Sunleaf Construction, where we did a joint venture with Northern Construction. And I have to mention that because it's very important. All of my colleagues in that joint venture, we attended that school.
Good.
And for us to be given the opportunity to be able to chart the direction in terms of construction and bringing a home to demolish the system in our country is something that is dear to our heart. And it's like a dream come true for all of us. I can say that proudly for all of my colleagues. It's like a dream come true for us because these type of projects don't come around every day. And I strongly believe that when we embark on building a new education institution, that there'll be sometime in centuries. So for us to be given the opportunity to do that, I want to take my hats off to Anthony McMaster and the RDA and the government of the Virgin Islands for seeing it fit to give the first joint venture an opportunity. And it's young, upcoming entrepreneurs in the construction field.
That is what I'm most proud of. That's something that all young entrepreneurs and all young Virgin Islanders should be proud of. And we are surrounded, we are well supported by the heavy hitters in the construction industry. We have Outland Construction, we have Iron, I can't remember Iron name right now for his construction, but I know we have Metro, that's his name, and we have a yellow company there, and those guys are veterans in the industry, and they have supported us. Good.
I wouldn't say that it has been an easy task, but we are seeing it through, and this is something that all Virgin Islanders should be proud of, that we are going to demolish the SIF system in our country and give our students their rightful place so they have an environment that's conducive for learning.
Amazing. And congratulations to you and your team and your colleagues in this construction venture. What are some of the hard lessons, Kevon, that you have learned so far? Because construction could be complicated. It's not the easiest industry. It's hard work. What have you learned so far, and how have you navigated some of the challenges?
What I'll say to that, Ron, I'll say that anyone that is going into the construction field, especially when you're coming from foundation up, you have to ensure that you have the right team with the right temperament. And patience is the biggest lesson I have learned on this journey. Having a lot of patience, because seconds things change. You're working with engineer, you're working with architect, you're working with the RDA, you're working with the government, and things are subject to change. And I like to say that one thing that I know, this change is always consistent. And we made a lot of changes. We went in with a particular scope, with the building size being one size, and we ended up with it being huge, more huge. So that was one of the aspects. We went in with, we was going to put a flat roof. We changed it to a pitch roof. So a lot of change was made through that process, but having patience and the right temperament, because, we as Virgin Islanders, we are hot-headed.
Not all of us. Not all.
Most of us, we are hot-headed.
Okay.
And when, something goes wrong and you're doing it for profit. But my team, for this particular project, we took this as an opportunity to show that we can do it and we can make contribution in a wide variety of ways in our country.
Understood. Now, apart from construction, you are a former banker. That would be where a number of persons know you from or have interacted with you, helping persons in whatever way that you can. Tell me about your background in banking and how that would have allowed you to segue to construction.
That's an excellent question, Ron. The bank enabled me to understand the administrative part of the construction industry very, very well, because when I was at the bank, I used to have to do mortgages, land loan, and those kind of stuff. But I'm going to speak primarily to mortgages because we're in line with construction. You would have to go through the invoices, you would have to go through the BQs the same way. You have to do your due diligence. You have to make sure that the points are in properly. You have to make sure you have enough money to run the project. You have to make sure that you have enough funds in case of cost overrun. You have to make sure the insurances are in place. You have to make sure that you're getting value for money. And all of that worked hand in hand for that particular project, because in the beginning, my team and I, we had to sit down, we had to find out our best suppliers, how would we make this work, how would we keep it under budget, because you're bidding and you're going into a competitive field. So all of those stuff that I learned at the bank contributed to me being able to understand and give my advice to the other members, because my strength with the company and the team for that particular project was the administrative part of that particular project, knowing how to fix the drawdown schedule and those kind of stuff. And the other guys who are experts in construction, building, engineering, doing the PQs and those kind of stuff. But I will be the one to go through the last end of it. Then I will pass it back to the project manager, and all the communication will go through the project manager. You have to have a team, especially a project of that nature. As you said, that this is a household project in this country, and all eyes are on that particular project. So you have to make sure things are tight. And I wouldn't be surprised if that project is audited. But that it's a project, we spent about $11 million on that.
Understood.
And that's taxpayers' dollars. So we have to ensure that
properly accounted for.
And I think we did a great job, but I'll say me working hand in hand with my experience, I was able to articulate myself to give good insight to my colleagues where my strengths lie for that particular project, and I can gladly say we should be turning over the project by the end of this week.
Awesome.
So
Beautiful.
that's for my particular building. I was we were charged in doing administrative building
Got you.
for the high school. So that building had in a sick bay, it had in a lounge, kitchen, restroom, offices for principals and staff, and
Beautiful.
so it was a great experience.
Wonderful. And I know the public is looking forward to seeing this project being completed and commissioned. And I know as well our students are also looking forward to it. And I think when the history books are written, that is something that you and your colleagues should be pleased of. Years down the road, you can tell your son and your daughter, you know, daddy helped to build that building, that particular building.
That's a part of my legacy.
Absolutely, absolutely.
And one of the things I want to add to, I'm proud to say, and I said it in the beginning with the stigma that they say nothing good cannot come out of Eastern Long. Look, I am proud to say that most of the labor was done from people from Eastern Long. Look, so I want to say if you give people a chance or opportunity, you can see what they can do.
Amazing. Speaking of legacy, you have been very vocal on social media in regards to a lot of the issues that we're facing on a country level. I remember one particular post where you said that you are offering yourself as a candidate in the next general election. Are you still of that mindset? Is this something that you are still continuing to consider, giving of yourself as a political candidate?
That's an excellent question, Ron. And you know, I want to add before I answer your question deeply. After the COI, a lot of that changed a lot of things in our country and in the world. And me offering myself to my community is something that I'll stay in my DNA. And I am one person that will always say that I'm not going to offer myself to office because Shaq wants to do it. People have to want you to do it. And that is still the census in the community.
Okay.
And I am still on that trajectory.
Wow. Well, congratulations in that regard. Being young or being one of the younger professionals, there are many who have said and unfortunately still believe that, especially at this juncture, critical, crucial part in our nation's history, there are some who believe that the young people shouldn't necessarily be the ones charting the course. Some feel as though the lack of experience in young people is not needed at this time. What do you say to the persons who, not only in the political arena, but since that's the line of a conversation right now, what do you say to the persons who feel as though young people like yourself, of our age demographic, should not necessarily or are not able to take up leadership roles in politics at this time? Because it has been said.
What I'll say to that, Ronn, and I just mentioned the COI. The COI have changed a lot of things, and the framework that our unity government sent to the United Kingdom, which the United Kingdom accepted, have changed a lot of things in our country. And I believe that young people at this time have something to offer. We have the ability to do it. And if we have changed a lot of things, moved around a lot of things, and still are working on passing a lot of legislations to shape our way into good governance, all of us, experienced and inexperienced person, has to learn the new systems together. So I would say that is false. However, I believe that we need a mixture of both in our next House of Assembly. And where I see myself fitting in that particular path of that puzzle is that you're going to need persons to advocate for national issues. You're going to need persons who are going to advocate for district issues. You're going to need a person who's going to need to advocate for territory-wide issues. So you need the right balance. And I would also look at it as succession planning. When, you know, I like to use Dr. Pickering as a great example and Marlon. But when they first went into office, they didn't become a minister just like that. They served consecutive terms, they learned the system, they understood the system, and they eventually see it fit that they should seek higher office or higher more responsibility And I am a firm believer if you don't give someone the opportunity, they will never gain the experience. So again, if you don't give someone the opportunity, they will never gain the experience. I'm a believer of that, Ron.
Indeed. You are definitely somebody that I say wears VA on your sleeve, Virgin Islands Pride on your sleeve. And I have to go to your attire because you are rocking our local designer, Miss Fraser, the lovely Miss Fraser. Tell us about your love for country and national pride.
The Virgin Islands is the only place I'll call my home. And
Really? Okay.
I am a huge supporter of locals, and if I can lend my hand to advertise, advocate for especially young entrepreneurs in our age demographics, I will do that every opportunity I get, and I always support Miss Fraser whatever new line she brings out.
Gotcha.
And I think she's doing big things, and I think that we all should get involved and advocate in this establishment where we are.
Yes,
We are doing the same thing here. So
supporting local businesses. Yes.
And we are going into the right direction. So I am for that.
Beautiful. Kevon, we are by far extremely proud of you. Very, very proud of your journey, your ability to articulate where not only you see yourself going for the future, but the country on a whole, your support to young entrepreneurs and community service. Of course, you spent quite a bit of time in the Virgin Islands Youth Parliament, making contributions to the conversation of where the young people feel as though we should be going. We wish you the very best, and we are proud of you. We're proud to be able to feature you as one of our season 4 best and brightest for the art of a distinguished gentleman. So congratulations and thank you so much.
Everyone, I just want to say thank you again for this opportunity.
Absolutely.
It was indeed a pleasure.
My pleasure. Viewers, of course, as I mentioned to you, we are at the amazing Botella Lounge in the Tortola Pier Park, sipping on some Uncle Nearest, of course, with the one and only, the man himself, Kevon, popularly known as Shaq, hailing all the way from the East, one of our best and brightest leading professionals who have contributed and still continues to contribute significantly to the development of our territory. I am so honored and I'm so thankful for the support of the community in this entire season and journey. Of course, Botella coming on board and making sure that we have all that we need. Viewers, it's been a pleasure. I'm your host, Ron Grant, and I will see you next week for another episode of The Art of a Distinguished Gentleman, featuring the best and brightest of our generation, essentially raising a generation of greatness. See you later.
80 channels. CCT Live. Bring it home.
1 month free trial turn into 5. 5 months turn into, well, you know, I huff. I watch him ball. I been watching football. That Nickelodeon. Paw Patrol. I am hooked. Hooked, I tell you.
The wait is over. CCT Fire is here. Experience ultra-fast downloads, seamless streaming, and even more reliable connectivity on an all-new fire-blazing super-fast CCT Fiber network. CCT Fire. Bring it home and upgrade today.
Father Jesus, that line here long like church service. Alright, let me try the rest of it. Next customer line, please. Wait, hold on a sec. Yes, Sonny Boy, come. Yes, Sonny. Good morning. Good morning, Sonny Boy. Hold on. You must have put fun to people. It's okay. I'll take care of it. What? No man to take care. How may I assist you? You want top of power?
You want top of power?
Join the prepaid party with CCT and enjoy more affordable data plans, more top-up promotions, more savings with hero bundles, and more value for your money each and every Tuesday with Top Up Turn Up Tuesday. Visit a CCT store today or anywhere CCT Top Up is sold and top up your phone.
5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. You want top of power?
I'm surprised you're here.
I'm surprised you're still alive.
Charles, it's been 60 years.
I wish it was 60 more.
Let it go.
No, you know what you did.
It was just ice cream. But you know what? It was delicious.
What?
We're like a family get-together without all the family drama.
What you gonna do?
CG Insurance. Good like that.